Batman's ability to dig deep and take on some of the most powerful figures in the DC universe is rarely ever not entertaining. Gods, monsters, intergalactic tyrants, Bruce Wayne has embarrassed them all at some stage or another, to say nothing of the countless figures in his own rogues gallery who have also severely underestimated the Caped Crusader and been humbled as a result. I'm Ewan, you're watching What Culture Comics, and here are 10 comic book villains humiliated by Batman. Number 10. KALIBAK, Batman and Robin, the New 52. Batman has gone toe-to-toe with the New Gods on 2 occasions prior to the New 52, in Cosmic Odyssey and Final Crisis respectively, but this time he came with a vengeance. In the wake of Damian Wayne's death in the finale of Batman Incorporated, which you should all go read, Batman deploys the Hellbat armor and ventures all the way to Apokolips to retrieve his son. It's a bit of a long story. In the process, he ends up fighting Darkseid, already once the subject of a bat-themed humbling, and KALIBAK, the Lord of Apocalypse's faithful son. Neither were evidently concerned at the prospect of Gotham's protectors showing up to ruin their plans, and the image of the Hellbat armor wreaking havoc in Apokolips is sure to have stuck with them for a long time afterward. Number 9. CIRCE, Amazon's Attack. Amazon's Attack was a short crossover that released in the build-up to Final Crisis. The comic saw Circe manipulate Hippolyta and the Amazons into invading the United States, believing that Wonder Woman had been detained by the Department of Metahuman Affairs. The Justice League mobilized in response, and, wouldn't you guess it, Batman is right at the center. Although Batman and Circe more famously crossed in the Justice League Unlimited episode This Little Piggy, which includes a pitch-perfect rendition of Am I Blue from Kevin Conroy, Amazon's Attack sees the sorceress underestimate Batman and suffer embarrassment as a result. However, just like that episode, Batman once again enlists the help of Zatanna to defeat Circe. The League's preeminent magician gives Batman a spell to cast on the Wonder Woman adversary that renders her powerless for a short period of time, allowing the Dark Knight to get the drop on her and lay the groundwork for Wonder Woman to swoop in and deliver the final blow. Number 8. Commissioner LOEB and the Gotham Mob. Year 1. Batman's "You have eaten well" speech from Frank Miller and David Mazzucchelli's Year 1 may just be the most iconic moment in Batman history, even if the Kevin Smith bladder spasm retcon does loom ominously in the distance. It's the definitive Batman moment in the definitive Batman origin, as the Dark Knight formally announces his presence to the Gotham underworld with an entrance the Kool-Aid Man would have been very proud of. After blowing up the dining room wall of a Gotham mansion where all the Gotham criminals are gathering, including GCPD Commissioner LOEB, the Dark Knight proceeds to deliver an all-timer of a monologue, vowing that, from this moment on, none of you are safe, before extinguishing the last light in the room and leaving in hushed silence. Oh, it's so good. Prior to this sequence, every single mobster and crook in that room thought themselves untouchable. But in one fell swoop, Batman eliminates any sense of security they may have had and brings them crashing back down to earth. Number 7. Bruce Wayne's many one-liners, the DC Animated Universe. Kevin Conroy has had plenty of iconic moments as the Caped Crusader, that I Am the Knight speech a particular highlight, but one aspect of his performance in the DCAU that has sort of slipped beneath the radar, more so than his excellent singing skills, is his ability to deliver Miami Vice level zingers at a moment's notice. Like, they could be violations of Batman's no-killing rule, they're that good. The 2 most memorable though, the one in the Batman Superman movie, where Harley Quinn mournfully exclaims "Puddin" as the Joker goes down in Luthor's flying wing, to which he responds with "At this point, he probably is," and also the closing speech in Batman Beyond's Sneak Peek, where he incorporates the villain's own TV show, The Inside Peek, into his own burn. As Ian Peek loses his solid state and begins to plummet straight down to the Earth's core, Bruce states that it's about as inside as you can get. Brutal. Just brutal. Number 6. Deathstroke, Beware the Batman. Deathstroke may be one of the deadliest figures in the DCU, but that didn't stop the Dark Knight from giving the Terminator his just desserts in the short-lived Beware the Batman animated series, which released for just 1 season in 2013. Bats and Deathstroke fight each other atop a cable car dangling over Gotham Harbor, and just as when it seems as though Slade has gotten the upper hand, the Caped Crusader is able to ensnare him with his grapnel gun and save the hostage position nearby. I wouldn't really call this a good representation of how a fight between Batman and Deathstroke would go down, as Slade is defeated way too easily, but it certainly qualifies as a time where Batman was able to humiliate an opponent without breaking much of a sweat. Number 5. The White Martians, Grant Morrison's JLA. Grant Morrison's stint on Justice League in the early noughties was something special. Their JLA comic gave the team an iconic lineup and went on to inspire the opening arc of the Justice League cartoon when it premiered in 2001. As was the case in the animated series, the world falls under attack from the villainous White Martians, and it's up to the Justice League to stop them. Also, like the cartoon series, the decisive blow is first dealt by Batman, who is so badly underestimated by the White Martians because he lacks the superpowers of his fellow teammates. The White Martians managed to capture all of the Justice League and assume that Batman was killed when they shot down the Batwing. However, the Dark Knight had survived the wreckage and deduced that they were just as susceptible to fire as Martian Manhunter due to the fact they didn't come near his burning plane. Bat swoops in, sets everything on fire like a pointy-eared Hank Scorpio, and saves his teammates. Another lesson in why you should never underestimate him. Number 4. Riddler, Batman Universe. Batman Universe is an absolute gem of a comic. Written by Brian Michael Bendis and with art from Nick Derrington, the series spotlights Batman in a time-traveling, universe-spanning adventure that takes him all the way from present-day Gotham City to Thanagar, then back in time to the Wild West where he meets Jonah Hex, all the way back to the present yet again. The series starts off somewhat innocuously, however, with a simple confrontation with the Riddler. Only, Batman can tell something isn't quite right. The Riddler's riddle this time was simply, when is the Riddler not the Riddler? And both the Dark Knight and Alfred agree that this is way below Nigma's usual standard. After chasing Riddler and asking why he's stolen a priceless Fabergé egg, Batman also expresses concern at Nigma's behavior. It comes off as sincere concern. I mean, come on, Batman is compassionate to most of his rogues after all, but there's an element of condescension there about how Riddler just isn't riddling like he used to, and it's just way too funny not to notice. It also gets a little more pronounced once Green Arrow shows up, with Bats exclaiming to Riddler that he's embarrassing himself in front of the Emerald Archer. It's dead funny. And while Riddler has undoubtedly faced greater upset in the past, Bat's treating him less as a worthy adversary and more as a person whose well-being he's concerned for wouldn't have done wonders for Nigma's ego. Number 3. Darkseid, Final Crisis. DC's last big universe-spanning crisis event saw the murder of a new god, the return of Darkseid, and the anti-life equation in action. Superman steals the show for a lot of it as he fights off cosmic vampire monitors through the multiverse, but Batman gets the big moment of the comic, confronting Darkseid with the gun that fires radion bullets, a god killer by any other name. Darkseid, like so many other figures before him, isn't concerned when Batman threatens to upset his plans, calling the Dark Knight a quote-unquote little man who wouldn't stand a chance against Darkseid's Omega Beams. Batman's reply? Try me. The Caped Crusader fires the radion bullet that would allow Earth's heroes to finally defeat Darkseid, but it comes at great cost. Darkseid's Omega Beams do indeed catch up with Batman, who seemingly perishes in a haze of cosmic energy. It would later transpire that he'd merely been jettisoned back through time, which only further cements this moment as one of Batman's greatest victories. Number 2. Joker, Mad Love. Mad Love is one of the most beloved episodes of Batman animated series, but it was first told in the show's tie-in comic, The Batman Adventures. Written by Paul Dini and with art from Bruce Timm, the story provides an in-depth look into Harley Quinn's origin and the full extent of her abusive relationship with the Joker. After her anniversary plans end with her being thrown out by Mr. J, she decides there's only one way to win her puddin's affection: capture and kill Batman. And she succeeds, but Joker isn't happy. If anyone's going to take Batman down, it's going to be him. And so he lashes out at Harley once more, leaving him alone with the Dark Knight. The two fight again, but Batman's able to use Harley's successful scheme to his advantage, taunting the Joker that she came closer than he ever has to actually killing him, and concluding the jibe by calling him Puddin'. The Clown Prince of Crime just snaps completely, which enables Bats to overpower him more easily. It's one of a select few moments where Batman has been able to break through the Joker's facade, and also probably the best. And number 1. Bane, I Am Suicide. Bane and Batman have had plenty of brushes with each other since the whole back-breaking thing in Nightfall, but their feud was taken to a whole other level during Tom King's run on Batman in 2016. In that series, Bane had become dependent on the Psycho Pirate in order to kick his addiction to venom, the substance that gives Bane his extraordinary strength. Batman also needs the Psycho Pirate, though, in order to help Gotham Girl, so he assembles a team along with Catwoman to go to Santa Prisca to abduct him. Bane and Batman fight once again, which actually leads to Bruce suffering another another spine-related mishap, only for the Dark Knight to deceive Bane by faking a Catwoman double-cross, which allows the feline Fatale to then break Bane's back and complete their plan. This act wouldn't end well for Batman, as Bane returned to Gotham to exact his revenge several arcs later, but what could possibly be more embarrassing for the character than to have his most iconic move used against him? And those were 10 supervillains Batman humiliated. Do you know of any other occasions where the Dark Knight has served up a big slice of humble pie? Let us know in the comments below, and while you're down there, it would be great if you could like the video if you enjoyed it, subscribe so you don't miss another upload, and head back on over to whatculture.com/comics, where you can find more of this sort of thing every day. I've been Ewan. You can catch more of me on Twitter if you want to, at EwanRuinsThings. But well, that's all I have to say. Take care, and I will hopefully see you next time. Bye!